The film you're about to see shares the journey of 3 congregations that engaged in a stewardship programme. Stewardship is a call to discern our needs from our wants, a call to simplicity, a call to prioritise our lives so that we spend our precious time and resources on what is truly important. Stewardship is our faith lived out in our daily lives. We must have faith that God provides what we need and faith that we can live a disciple's life as He calls us. There are 3 sections to the film. At the end of each section we have provided a pause page. We hope that you will pause the film on this page and work through the questions.
In Berwick-upon-Tweed, I worked with the Stewardship group looking at the theme of time. Time is a fundamental part of God's creation and should be recognised as a very important gift from God. Consideration of the stewardship of time helps us look beyond the life of the congregation. The good news is that Jesus is Lord of the whole of life, and He equips us with His presence. Working together, we came up with the idea of a project called Moments in Time. This took the congregation on a journey of examining their past, gratitude for their present, and hope for the future. Also, the congregation wanted to express thankfulness for their town and their community.
Each moment of each day has been given to us by God, and therefore we should be grateful for it.
In thinking about the programme, we decided to do a number of things culminating in the Flower Festival. So one of the things we did was we made a film, and that film was to feature the past and the present of the church. We also decided to make a banner, and again the theme there was to express our sense of thankfulness for all that we enjoy about Berwick-upon-Tweed, but also about our church life. And we had 40 people, some of them church members and others who weren't church members, making panels for that banner. And that was a really, really good experience.
The Bucket of Blessings came about because I wanted some way of people expressing gratitude rather than just Lent is usually for taking away things, and I wanted people to think about what they could put in instead.
Another benefit though was we put on an exhibition of what was currently happening in the church, and people said things like, "Oh, I didn't know all this was going on here."
Feedback was quite amazing. I think when you come to an exhibition like this, when there's no pressure, you can wander around, when you can see people that you haven't seen for a long time, this encourages people to want to come and do it again. Any excuse for a blether.
At the actual Flower Festival, we did run cream teas through the mornings and the afternoons for the whole 4 days of the festival through in the session room. Obviously it needed quite an army of volunteers to run it because it's quite hard work serving teas. Most of my ladies were over 80, but they were game and really worked hard, and it was lovely. People did enjoy it, and it was a lot of fun time.
The really amazing thing was that everybody pulled together. Once we started showing them the direction we wanted to go, the buzz was just tremendous.
Another surprise from the campaign was that we've had a number of people coming along to church occasionally who weren't involved before but had got involved through the campaign.
Doing this project, we were basically hoping to cover our costs and raise some money for charity at the same time. We hadn't really looked at raising money for the church as such, but it has been a byproduct of what we did. And whether it's everybody coming together to do something, there's a renewed sense of belonging to the church, and actually our day-to-day giving has gone up as a result.
All the stewardship consultants are encouragers, and they come with a vast experience and knowledge, and they bring a strong framework on which the local people can put their own voice.
When we started our first meeting, we had this stewardship consultant, Margot, with us. And it was really helpful because the first meeting was so intimidating. We had absolutely no idea what we were going to do. And Margot had come prepared with a lot of literature and demonstrations of what other churches had done. And it gave us a starting point. I mean, some of the things we decided we didn't want to do them. But it just gave us confidence. We were looking at something and not sort of sticking our heads in the air and thinking, oh dear, what are we going to do?
In 1 Peter, we read how Christians were encouraged to use the skills and abilities that God had given to them to serve others. God has given us all talents, skills and abilities, all different, but all equally important, no matter how trivial we feel they may be. It is important that we recognise our own particular skills and abilities, as well as those in our congregation, and use them the way God intended, to become involved in the life of our congregation and our wider community. Our skills and abilities should shape the mission of our congregation. God placed us all together so that our skills, abilities, talents would complement one another and achieve great things through worship, witness and service. Dalgety Parish Church is a great example of a congregation who have really embraced the stewardship of talents as part of Christian discipleship.
When we decided to focus on talents, we took our experience in the past when we asked people what their talents were. A note was taken and nothing was done about it. So we decided the Have a Go Saturday would be an opportunity for people to come in and to try different things, banner making, flower arranging, being on the AV desk, for example, to see if it's something they would like to do and something that they had the talent to do.
As part of our Talent Swap Saturday, we agreed that someone would take photographs on the day. These were taken and then put into a calendar which we sold at the Christmas fair and other events over the Christmas period.
Our Have a Go Saturday brought in a number of new volunteers. We had on that day what we called a wall of work, where jobs that needed done around the church were put there. People were encouraged to go and pick them and go and record that they were interested in doing it.
So on our wall of work, it was really important that we got lots of different types of jobs so we could involve all the congregation in what we wanted to do.
As part of our wall of work, we had a variety of different jobs available, and some were as easy as visiting someone who is housebound or maybe someone who hadn't been able to attend services for a while.
We felt that it was really important not for the Stewardship Committee not to be the doers. So when we had our talents campaign, we made sure that work that was needing done was passed back to the conveners to ensure that they did it.
To me, the importance of stewardship is to make sure that it's relevant to where your congregation is, so therefore you get buy-in.
The wall of work is still functioning in a rather different way though than the original concept. So we have a place in our rooms 1 and 2, which are kind of coffee area, where there is a wall, and if you've got a job that needs doing, you can post it up there, or if you've got a skill that you want to bring into use, you could put it up there too.
The long-term benefits of a talent campaign is getting more volunteers for the church. People who wouldn't necessarily have volunteered for something before then feel that they are able to, and these people then stay doing things around the church.
One of the most important things to me about stewardship is not just about things like raising money or getting people doing activities, it's building relationship and community within your church.
I think it's important when you're focusing on any aspect of stewardship, talents being one of them, that you don't expect the miracle overnight. It is an encouragement to people to ask them to look at their talents, but you have to measure that success in small steps and not expect it all at once.
Congregations are often sceptical when we start talking about stewardship, but with a little encouragement, they find that the process is so much easier than they first imagined.
The stewardship consultant brings to our team encouragement, lots of enthusiasm. She's very good at giving us ideas that have been used in other churches, and then we can use these ideas too.
The benefits to the church of running the Talents campaign was encouraging people who perhaps were on the edge or not totally involved in day-to-day activities in the church to get more involved.
The short-term benefits of having the Talents campaign, I think, was people making friends, making new friends, speaking more to someone rather than just a hello on a Sunday morning, and it was really good fun on the day.
The Bible has a lot to say to us about our attitudes to our money and our possessions. In both Mark and Luke we find the well-known story of the poor widow's offering, and we hear Jesus observe to his disciples that she gave more than anyone else when she put 2 small coins into the offering box, because they gave a tiny part of their surplus and she gave everything she had to live on. Her giving was sacrificial. Our financial offering is one measure of our love for God. There are many biblical models, but all are based on thanksgiving, generosity, and sacrifice. It's important for each one of us to decide how we will honour God in our offering, remembering that the money we give enables the continued sharing of the gospel through the work of the church. Cross Hill Parish Church in Motherwell was one of these congregations, and I was lucky enough to work with them and help them to deliver a very successful programme for their congregation.
When we first launched the programme, I just thought, I can't be bothered. I didn't want to be involved. I thought, here we go again. We started up the small committee, and with the enthusiasm of everyone within the committee, it draws you in. You feel, maybe this is slightly different the way we're approaching it. And I think that was the main thing. We approached it in a different manner, in a different way. And by the end of the programme, I think everyone, not just the small committee, but everyone who was a leader or was involved in presenting the whole day or 2 days, really were happy. And it made such a difference within the church.
A gathering in terms of a stewardship programme, particularly we use it for the giving of money, but the idea of it is really to showcase the work of the church, the whole church, but mainly the local, to be fair. And it's an opportunity for the congregation to see the work that they're responsible for through their giving.
I think people find it difficult to talk about money because they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed whether they can give a lot or give a little. They don't realise that no matter what they give, it does serve the church in a small way or a large way. And what I can afford to give is totally different from what someone else can afford to give.
Talking about money as a Scotsman is probably one of the areas that we are probably criticised for. We are not normally renowned for talking openly about finance, and particularly in the church as well. It's something that is very difficult to talk about and very difficult to talk about openly. However, once again, when you take the stewardship campaign and you take the work that's been done by the consultants, and in our case it was Edith, to actually show what can be done without actually giving any more money, i.e. by standing orders, by gift aid. A lot of people don't understand or recognise that they don't have to do a lot to significantly increase what they give. And I think getting that message across was one of the most important parts of the actual sitting down in the church here before we went into the hall and just explaining what we could do and ask people to review what they gave. And a lot of very good analogies were given in terms of just how much a cup of coffee costs and how that would make a difference. If everybody gave the equivalent of a cup of coffee every week into the church, what a difference that would make. And actually we succeeded in getting nearly 106 standing orders. We increased our gift aid considerably, and our givings went up nearly 20% as a result of this stewardship campaign, which is a fantastic result,
The congregation owned the whole Giving to Grow campaign right from the beginning, from the 7 who started to all the volunteers who went out and visited. And then we had like 120 to 130 people involved at the gatherings, manning stalls, explaining what happens, welcoming people, and also serving the usual teas and coffees at the usual bun fight after it. But you know, they did contribute and they took ownership of the whole thing.
Looking to the future, consolidating what we have at present and using all our gifts and skills and talents to equip ourselves to meet the challenge of the future, that is what this stewardship campaign has been all about.
Thank you for watching this film. We hope it will help you to make a conscious decision to develop and share your gifts on an everyday basis. You'll notice this is a Learn film. Learn is a brand created by the Mission and Discipleship Council of the Church of Scotland to connect, resource and inspire congregations.